Yeah. So, hello everybody, wherever you're joining us from, Canada, JAMstack Canada, JAMstack Germany, wherever you're joining us from. I mean, probably if you're joining us from, I mean, the main JAMstack community, it's really nice to see you all again. Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, a very long while since we've done something right here, and super excited to be here, and I cannot wait to have someone with me. I mean, someone joining me, right? And currently, and yeah, sadly, we won't be having Idris Ulubisi, right? Because of some sad reasons. I mean, due to some sad reasons, we won't be having him, and it's something, of course, we all are excited about. And I cannot wait to have him join us. December 2020. Yeah, I remember. So I'm so sorry for keeping this community inactive, basically because of my final exams in high school. So I am super sorry about that. And yeah, I think we have one of our speakers here. Right, it's really nice meeting you. I guess this is the very first time I'm seeing you. Right. Well, I'm super excited to have him right here. He's such an amazing person. I think he has, yeah, obviously he has more experience than I do in tech because I don't have experience. Well, I think he does. Yeah, he does, and he has written several or a couple of amazing articles. I mean, technical articles. I mean, he writes on Blog Rocket and the likes, and someone I've known for about years. I think he's super amazing person. I can, of course, obviously, he's a senior developer. I think. Well. You all, there is Apolayo Oluwaseun, right? And he's going to be speaking to us about 12th, and I cannot wait to hear a lot of amazing stuff about 12th from him. Yes. So he's a very amazing person. He has much more experience in tech. I'm pretty sure you'd love to learn from him. And yes. Okay, are you ready? Hello?
Hi, Kwe.
Yeah,
Can you
I
hear me?
can.
So awesome. Hi everybody. It's great to be here. Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction. Uh, my name is Oluwaseun Raphael, just like Paul has mentioned, and I'm a full stack mobile and web developer. With that, it means I work with mobile technologies like React Native and Ionic. And as a web developer, I work with frameworks like Laravel, Node.js for backend development, as well as Django. And then for front-end development, I use all kinds of JavaScript frameworks and SvelteKit. SvelteKit, I mean, as kind of been the one that I've found most exciting to use in the past, let's say 2 years. Svelte, I mean, generally, because SvelteKit was only released, I think, in July last year. Yeah, so and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. It's a framework that I believe everyone would love to get started with. So yes, let's dive in. I'm going to be sharing my screen in a few minutes. So Can you up confirm when you see my screen open? Um, so here we go. Yeah, I'm going to just share the screen. Yep. Yes, you can see my screen. All right. The title of this talk is supercharging Jamstack development with Svelte kits. Okay. And if you're having trouble pronouncing Svelte kits, okay, just remove the S as much as you can and pronounce it Svelte kit, but add the S at the beginning. Okay. My name is Oluwashon again, and on Twitter, I'm at the Afolayon on Twitter. In case you want to check out my or something. And in this talk, it's going to be a very short talk, and as we're going to be focusing more on the practical aspects. Okay. So we're going to be looking at what Jamstack is for people new to the term Jamstack. Okay. And then we're also going to be exploring Svelte and Svelte kits as a whole. And then from there, we move straight into the practical aspects where we get to scaffold a Svelte kit installation. And then from there, we look at the component structure and layout. Then before moving to styling, routing, and how to deploy your Svelte kit app in providers like Netlify or your shared hosting service. Okay, so let's dive right in. Now, what is Jamstack? Um, I'm trying to make this an interactive session, but I'm not sure I know how many people can are joining the stream right now. So if you have any questions or any comments anytime in in this talk, you can just use the comment section to to leave your comments, and I'll make sure to respond to them as soon as I can. All right. Now back to Jamstack. Jamstack stands for JavaScript architecture and markup. That's what the Jam in Jamstack stands for. The same way we have what we call the LAMP stack and we have the MERN stack. With LAMP stack, we know it is Laravel, um, yeah, Laravel, Angular, Laravel, Apache, PHP, and MySQL. That's what LAMP stack stands for. And Jamstack is quite similar in that it's basically you building your stuff around JavaScript. The same way LAMP stack stands for um, putting your architecture based on PHP. Okay. So according to Jamstack.org, Jamstack is an architecture designed to make the web faster, more secure, and easier to scale. Okay, it builds on many of the tools and workflows which developers love and bring maximum productivity. The core principles of pre-rendering and decoupling enable sites and applications to be delivered with greater confidence and resilience than ever before using Jamstack. And it's something that I found really, really interesting over the past few years was five, 6 years ago, the way you would build websites was that you would need to have your backend in something like PHP, Django, or Node.js, and then your front end would be HTML, CSS, and JavaScript only. But the world has kind of shifted from that perspective, and with Jamstack, developers are empowered to build applications using JavaScript as their primary development language. You don't need to have to learn, let's say, a backend technology like Node.js for you to be able to build full stack apps using JavaScript. And take a quick look at Svelte because that's what our topic is focusing on. We're focusing on how to build JAMstack powered apps using Svelte and Svelte Kit. Okay, so according to the official documentation on svelte.dev, Svelte is a component-based JavaScript framework, much like React, Vue, or Angular, and is used for building web applications in JavaScript. Svelte is a radical new approach to building user interfaces, and whereas traditional frameworks like React and Vue do the bulk of their work in a browser, Svelte shifts that work into a compiled step that happens when you build your app. Okay, so um, what I want us to take away from this, because I'm going to come back to this part when we go, a bit more practical, is that Svelte kind of and this by the way is one of my most favorite things about this framework. It's you writing JavaScript, right? It's powered under the hood by JavaScript, but it helps you write or build powerful stuff with less JavaScript than you would normally would. Okay, if you're used to things like to frameworks like React, Vue, or Angular, you will find out that, or I have found out that, I mean, I get to use lesser JavaScript. I get to write lesser JavaScript than I normally would when I'm using Svelte. Okay, and I kind of believe with this, Svelte Kit is a lot simpler. Not only simpler to learn, but I kind of feel it has a lot of edges over other JavaScript frameworks. And this talk is not a talk focusing on bashing React or Angular, right? It's basically me showing you what exactly this framework is, what it has to offer. And yeah, and for example, instead of using techniques like virtual DOM diffing, Svelte writes codes that surgically updates the DOM when the state of your app changes. Okay, so it means that when you use something like React, for example, you know that when let's say a state variable changes, what happens is the page is re-rendered under the hood to be able to reflect the new change in your state. But with Svelte, there are event listeners that are automatically tied or bound, I mean, to your variable. So you don't have to render each time, and that's in a way kind of cuts performance loss, and it makes your app overall experience faster and smoother. Okay, and yeah, let's take a brief look into Svelte Kit now. So Svelte Kit, I mean, is a Svelte-based framework for developing web apps, and it extends the capability of Svelte by offering enhancements such as server-side rendering, file-based routing system, client-side hydration, and some other exciting features that we'll take a look at shortly below. So with this, you kind of already have the idea that Svelte Kit is what Next.js is to React, and it's what Next.js is to Vue.js. Okay, so it's like the SSR framework or the SSR version for React, Vue, but this one focuses mainly on Svelte. Okay, yeah, let's dig into the part that I love most, the part where we actually get to code things out. Okay, I'm going to open up a new terminal here. And while that is loading up, I'm going to let us I'm going to let us take a look at the Svelte kit documentation here. And if you Google Svelte kit, it's like literally the first site that opens up when you do that. Is upcoming post still here? Can upcoming post still? So I want to know if this is being shared on Facebook, so as to know if I'm expecting any comments and to get feedback from the audience basically. Um
Oh wow, we lost connection. I don't know what's happening, but well, is it back? Oh yeah, it seems it's back.
yeah,
Right.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Hello?
can. I can.
Oh, okay. I was having trouble hearing you. Yeah. I was asking if you were streaming, if this was being streamed on Facebook, and if I'm expecting any comments.
Well. I feel they might not join now, but then like I'm going to work on like promotion of this. I mean after this. So, well, you could, if you are listening to this or if you're hearing me, you can actually ask him via his Twitter DM. I think that's better, right?
Yeah, I've got Twitter, but if you could share this to Facebook, for example, people could join and then ask questions through StreamYard, so that I can know if there's anything that anybody wants me to explain in particular.
Okay. I get.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is the official Svelte kit documentation, and I'm sorry if you're watching this without knowing Svelte, but Svelte is actually a prerequisite for you to follow along here. Okay, if I were to explain the basics of Svelte before I get into this, it's going to take a lot of time, and I believe I have limited time, about 11 minutes more for my talk. So yeah, let's just get on it. So to create a Svelte kit app, all you need to do is run this command, and once you do this, the Velcro generator is going to set up a local installation, and all you need to do is press Y to accept the prompt. If you want to change the names that you're using, for your app. You can add that as a replacement for my app here. So I'm just going to create this Kit demo, and we're not using TypeScript for this. No ESLint. I prefer Prettier. Nope. And yeah, we just done that. And it's as simple as that. Installing Kit is as easy as that. All you need to do now is open this up in your terminal. I mean in your code editor, and run npm install. And set the standard installation prompt. And as you can see, when you install is Kit scaffolding, you get the svelte.config.js file. This is where you can override methods. Okay, this is the README file that obviously will come pre-installed with every other topic, with every other installation. The package.json file shows you what dependencies are installed. And as you can see, we have Svelte.js, the adapter auto, and the Svelte kit, the original package, as well as Prettier and Prettier plugin Svelte. And then finally, the parent framework, which is Svelte itself. Okay, every other thing here are module dependencies, font source, UUID, cookies, and we have the script here that will help us build and run our application when we are done. Okay. This is a standard Prettier installation file. I'm just going to go straight into the source folder where you can see what is being what the demo app runs with under the hood. And yeah, we have the app.html file, which in React would be your I think index.html file. Okay, as you can see, this is where every ed tag or every ed component here is injected. And inside of the body here, this is where the body elements that need to be present in the body are basically injected through this tag. Okay, svelte.body. Right, and as you can see, this is where the default styling for the demo installation are set, and it's basically a few lines of CSS. And now the routes here, the route file is basically where each page in your app is configured and stored. Okay, so let me run this first of all, so we see the result. Npm run, I believe it's start. Okay, yeah. Npm run dev, so once you do that, you're going to see that it's going to automatically serve your app on port 3000. Quite similar with the way Create React app renders a page. So I'm going to move my browser here so that we can have a nicer view of what I'm doing. Yes, as you can see, this is the page that the Kit demo comes pre-installed with. We have the home page, we have the about page, and we have the to-dos. And as you can see, this is pretty fast. This is pretty fast. And again, this is one of my favorite things about the framework. And it comes pre-installed with a counter component here that we can play around with. Okay, and as you can see, this is all of this component here is being rendered from the route slash index.svelte file, and this is it here. So I can change something here, and with the help of auto reloading that automatically shifts with Svelte, I can instantly see my changes. So I can change this, for example, to JAMstack, and once I save, we're going to see the results here. Okay, and that is again because of the auto reloading feature that comes with the local install of Svelte kit. And yeah, this component here again is the counter component, and as you can see, it's being served from here from the library folder, then counter.svelte. So if you check the library, we see that this is counter.svelte. And all that we have here is JavaScript. The entire JavaScript handling this is written from here. And if you were using something like React or something, you would not be freely able to do this. You have to render your files from from JSX files or so, and then inject them into your HTML into your HTML via the root tag. Okay, but with Kit, you just treat your files the same way you write HTML. You put in your HTML tags, your style tags can stay in the same file, and your script file all your scripts all stay in the same file. Pretty close to HTML if you ask me. So when you're setting state here, all you can see is that you can initialize the initial state of any variable that you want here, and it's automatically going to be watched using this. If you are doing this in React, okay, what you would need to do is to use is let's say import state, use state from React, and then constate initial state equals to so thing. But with Svelte, you can initialize your variables like a normal variable in JavaScript, and you still get close to the same features as you do in React. Okay, and now that we've taken, I think, a brief look at the folder structure, I want us to look at the styling methods that apply to Svelte. Okay, and when styling with Svelte, we can see, like I mentioned earlier, that you only need to put your styles here in the same file with your components. Okay, and automatically Svelte generates unique class names for each of your components, so that one component doesn't inherit styles from another component. Okay, so if I were to check this, for example, this is the div here that renders the counter. If I were to inspect this in my browser DevTools, we're going to see that the class name automatically here has been truncated to something else. So hold on. And as you can see, this is meant to be the class that we saw here. Okay, div class equals to counter, and as you can see that here, there's a unique string here that is automatically appended to our class name to make sure that the styling stays unique across each component. Okay, because if you have a counter component here and you created another counter component somewhere else and you're using both of them, for example, on the same page, if you're not careful, those styles are going to conflict, and when they conflict, you might see that your app looks different than the way that you intended it to be. So SvelteKit automatically handles that using automatically generated class names. Okay, and and yeah, Now, when we want to look at app layouts in Svelte kits, for example, we can see that when you build a typical web app, you will need to write a header and a footer, as as parent components for each of your each pages of your app. Okay, SvelteKit makes this painless in its architecture by allowing you to create and extend layout components the same way you can easily do in Laravel or other rendering frameworks. So to define a layout component that will be inherited by every page in your app, you can create or you can modify what is called the layout.svelte file, and it's automatically scaffolded for you when you're having a demo install. But if you're doing a fresh install with no dependencies whatsoever, you will need to create this yourself inside the route file. This is the layout.svelte file. As you can see, it's everywhere. It's everywhere here. Okay, and every other page inherits is injected into this component. Okay, if I were to check here, for example, you see that on this page there's visit kit.svelte.dev to learn Svelte kit. If I check the about page, you can see that it's here as well, and it's reduced page, and that is because we have defined a layout file already. Okay, and then now Svelte kit also allows you to define markup and styles. If, for example, you'd want to have general styling applied to every element or the parent component, for example, you can easily do that from here. And the styles here, the styles defined in your layout file will be automatically added to each and every of your components. Okay. And yeah, routing now. I'm trying to rush this off because my time is already up, as I'm aware. Yeah, routing in Svelte is is similar to that of Next.js or other popular SSR solutions. Okay, because SvelteKit makes use of a file-based routing system. And when working with SvelteKit, pages are stored by default in the source/route folder here, as you can see here. And the beautiful thing about this again is that you can automatically configure or modify how the routes are being registered from the svelte.config.js file. The svelte.config.js file is where set different parameters. And if you take a look at the official documentation here, you can see what each of these methods available for tweaking are. Okay, so if, for example, I were to create a page, for example, say contact.svelte here, what I'll need to do is I'll just need to go to the routes folder and create a file here called contact.svelte. And yeah, I can basically copy whatever is here and put it inside the contact.svelte file. And if I go to this route/contact, for example, you should see that the contact page is rendered here as well. As you can see, that is how simple creating routes for in your pages are. Okay, with something like React Router, for example, if you're using something like React Router, you would need to have like a central place where each of your routes are registered. But in Svelte, all you need to do is just create the page in your route file, and it's automatically registered as a route. Okay. If you want to deploy a Svelte Kit app, there are different adapters that you can use for deployment. Okay. And if you check the documentation up here, if you check the documentation for Svelte Kit, there are a lot of what we call plugins or adapters that you can use to easily set up your site on any hosting platform of your choice. And as JAMstack developers, the most popular places where Jamstack apps are deployed is, for example, Netlify or Vercel. Okay, so when you want to do this, you only need to hold on. I'm going to share the link to this with us shortly after this talk. So if you want to deploy, for example, to Vercel, this is what you need to use. The adapter Vercel, and is what you know helps you set up your app on Vercel. And I'm sure most of us noticed earlier that we have something called adapter auto installed as a dev dependency here. Okay, if this is installed with your project, you don't need to install any other thing to deploy your app. Okay, you can easily just push this to Vercel and automatically run a deployment from there. Okay, and because my time is up, I hope at least we've been able to see a bit of the features that VeldKit comes packed with, and how it can be used for developing apps with JavaScript and the Jamstack in general. Okay, so if you have any questions for me, um, because this is not a live stroke interactive thing, my I'm going to leave links to my social handles um, in my slide here. So hold on. I'm trying to get back to my slide. And give me a few seconds to pull up this. So if you have any questions, or if you just want to reach out to talk about Jamstack in general, I'm available on Twitter, I'm available on Facebook, I'm available on LinkedIn. You can send me messages by any of these channels. I'm going to provide the link to this slide to Opamiko here, so that it can publish it with the Jamstack Lagos community. Okay, and that I think would be the end of my talk. So thank you very much for joining, everyone. I'm really honored for the opportunity once more for coming on. And yes, it's it's an unexpected wrap.
Right. So, thank you very much. It was really nice having you right here. And yes, um, thank you very much. Right. So, unfortunately, we won't be having the other speaker due to some reasons, but then we will be getting a recording from him in a very few weeks. Hopefully, and sadly, he's not going to be around for some reasons, for some sad reasons, actually. So, thank you very much for joining, and I hope to share this with everybody in the community and outside the community. I mean, even the Jamstack community itself, not Jamstack Lagos. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. This is the very first of its kind this year. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And yes, please follow him via his social media handles. Yes, I think here. So you can actually follow him on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Yeah, they are really amazing platforms where you can follow him. I mean, thank you very much for joining this Jamstack Lagos meetup in February 2022. And I hope to see you some other time in person. Our next meetup should be in May, and um, I will be doing this every 2 months. Yes. Thank you very much for joining, and I mean, I really want to thank you because you've not left this community since. So thank you very much. I hope I gather people to watch this. Thank you very much. I hope to see you next time. Bye, JAMstack Lagos. See you in person very soon.